Today, we're going to take things over to Washington, D.C., where we're not going to be talking about politics, or maybe we will be.
We will.
Just not, just not on the grand stage of things. So here's what's going on. Right. So DC's medical marijuana dispensaries are having issues. Right, and they say that they're being squeezed by the so-called I-71 weed shops in a new legal market that is popping out in Maryland. All right, so with congressional Republicans continuing to block the city from allowing adult use commercial sales, DC found itself between a rock and a hard place recently. For those unfamiliar with the situation, 2 years ago, DC's top brass eased regulations allowing residents aged 21 and older to self-certify, paving the way for medical dispensaries to expand and provide access to residents to regulated products sourced by DC cultivators. There's one major drawback: higher prices. Kunate Till of Axios reported this morning that 5 legal dispensaries have gone out of business over the past 2 years, and operators are blaming it on an uneven playing field, according to District Cannabis Director Grace Hyde, a cultivator operating out of Northeast DC. Per the article, there are 9 medical dispensaries in DC, but more than 100 I-71 shops, or as we knew them here as 215 shops, unlicensed gifting that goes down there, and it exists under a loophole law that offers customers cheaper product without the need for medical forms. So in an effort to eliminate the gifting market, the city created an on-ramp for these shops to become legally permitted as medical dispensaries and began accepting applications late last year. Shops that fail to apply will be forced to shut down. Hyde, who co-chairs the Regulated Cannabis Association of DC, wants Mayor Muriel Bowser to come down hard on the remaining I-71 shops. I would say that the industry has, without enforcement, 60 days before we really start to collapse, she said. Our business has not broken even in any single month of 2024. Adding insult to DC's cannabis industry, Maryland's newly minted legal market has continued to thrive, and Dills says that residents can hop across the border to Maryland and buy from legal recreational shops, where prices have continued to slide since January. Taking rhetorical cues from New York's senior leadership, spokesperson Mary McNamara from the DC Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration said in a statement to Axios that the agency has issued 21 cease and desist orders and 75 warnings to unlicensed businesses, and that operators choosing to ignore the C&Ds or that quote unquote pose a imminent danger to health and safety are at risk of being padlocked. No mention of protecting there, like New York, but I digress. Well, we will see how well this is going to work out in DC, seeing how things have turned out for New York. A whole lot of photo ops and stunts for the gram, but plenty of folks on the ground saying that not much has changed. Unfortunately, I don't see anything changing, at least in the near future, for DZ residents or operators. Just imagine having to operate through all the obstacles the rest of American cannabis retailers have to go through, in addition to congressional Republicans that hate the fact that you exist in any capacity when you're just trying to do the right thing. I don't know. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News. What do you guys think? Is DC market just going to turn into Trap City? It seems like it already is.
It seems like it already is.
I think it's already there.
It's not. We don't think it is. It's real.
Yeah.
Like
DC is super trappish.
Super trappish.
1000% trap. I was there several years ago, and someone told me about an app where you download a motivational speech and for $60, and then also 30 minutes later, a guy with weed shows up.
I'm not mad.
Was it a good speech?
Does it motivate you to smoke?
It definitely motivated me in many, many ways. Yeah, it was from the Dalai Lama, who I actually really love. So
That's great. I mean, that's fair. It's a great.
Oh, shout out to the Dalai Lama.
Listen, the price is not bad. I don't know. I think this is more of the same. Like if you look at Colorado, that's the same way that happened there, right? The gifting, the nonprofits, the cannabis churches, like you buy an oddly priced bag of chips and all of a sudden it comes with an eighth, but it was a suggested donation. So I think once again, another municipality has not looked at their predecessors to see what hasn't worked and what those loopholes. We've closed those loopholes in every state. No, so you guys are like, let's go. Right. But let's show A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Don't jump to A to Z. Do it right. They are finally.
Republicans, they don't let them operate.
Stop it, bro. Stop it. Democrats have had their opportunity to let them operate, and they totally failed that, too.
This happens every single time. They're trying to do shit right.
No, that's not true, bro. That is not true at all. That's gaslighting. The Democrats have been in charge. The Democrats have been in control of the House, and they could allow them to operate, and they didn't do it either. So don't start with the gaslighting.
And let's not cut me off for your.
Jason, we've covered this time and time again. Over the last 3 years, we've covered this.
Let me tell you something.
Every single time they would have done by the Republicans.
No, and no. Yes, it has been blocked. Yes, it has been blocked by Republicans, but it's also not ever happened under Democrats. So the fact that the Democrats just sat on their hands, you don't get to gaslight on Republicans saying Republicans are so bad when the do-nothing Democrats are doing nothing.
Time and time again. We have reported on this specifically time and time again, Jason.
We have. You're right. And we've also reported on the fact that the do-nothing Democrats have been doing nothing about this situation.
Maybe we can just agree that no one has done anything on either side of the aisle. Let Jenny Beth finish.
Look at that girl power.
Thank you.
Rachelle. Appreciate you. No, I mean, I don't think that we're going to make this a bipartisan issue. I think if you look at every state as they go through, instead of going and saying, they did this didn't work this way, they're going through all those steps that we already know don't work. So why don't you look at some places that have systems that are working as well as they can, right, for access. Excuse me. Municipalities, states, whatever regulation you're looking at. I'm aware that DC is not a state, it's a district. But anyhow, moving forward, Rico, God damn, just look at what's happened before you instead of going through closing all these loopholes and crying about how your licensed businesses aren't able to be profitable because of X, Y, and Z that's already happened in X, Y, and Z state, municipality, district, fucking planet, wherever. All right, I'm done. Y'all are exhausting this morning.
Why is DC not a state? Let me ask you that.
Because it's not. It's not, and it shouldn't be.
Why is it not a state?
It's because it's not.
Why is it not a state?
It's a territory. It's not meant to be a state. It never was intended to be a state by the founding fathers. It's intended to be the District of Columbia, which is exactly what it is.
There we go.
False. It's
Rico.
Not a state because the Republicans keep on knocking it down.
No, it's not. So just because the Democrats want to make it a state doesn't mean that it should be a state. Okay? It wasn't created as a state originally. It shouldn't be a state today. It shouldn't be a state in the future, period.
Why are they taxed?
Why are they taxed? Because they're U.S. citizens, Rico.
So is it taxation without representation?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Taxation is theft. Move forward.
Yeah, taxation is theft. I'll get behind that. Taxation is theft, but it's not. They got plenty of representation.
If you give the people and the leaders of DC the rights like everybody else, guess what?
No.
Then you can make the argument that you're making, Jenny Beth. But the argument makes zero sense because they cannot operate like anybody else, and they're trying everything they can, and it just gets knocked down every damn time.
No.
Bullshit, Rico. And I got this one, Jason.
Right now. Go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
Have a system they're putting into place to regulate, then their regulators, whether it's a district of regulator or it's a fucking state regulator or it's a municipal regulator. If they're putting regulations together, the point still stands. Look and see what hasn't worked in other fucking markets. I'm sorry that you want to, I don't know why we're arguing this point. Why is it a district? All right. Welcome to geography class once again with High at 9.
It's
but
relevant.
At this point, it is relevant. But do they have regulators? Do they have a policy?
Yep, they have a whole city council.
Well, there must
city
be
council
a whole
that they elect.
City council is who writes the regulations in every fucking municipality.
That's right, Rico. What do you have to say about that?
Oh my God!
Crickets.
You guys,
put that in your pipe and smoke
revising
it.
history in real time right here because we have covered what has gone on in DC and why they are not a state, why they can't run their own shit properly, and why they have to go through these loopholes because of Republican obstructionism.
No.
Time
because
and time again.
Do nothing Democrats don't do anything when they just gaslight the public. Oh yeah, we're gonna do all this. Da 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 da. You know, it just kind of reminds me of like the Obama years when Bill Maher donated $1 million on the promise that Obama was going to legalize cannabis, and guess what? Do nothing. Democrats did nothing about it.
I love how we weren't going to talk about politics till Rico found a way to bring it up very early on.
This is very different. This is very different. If you open up the market and allow DC to operate as they should operate, let them make their own mistakes. But instead, they're trying to go through the same loopholes that have quasi worked everywhere else because they can't write their own fucking laws to support this shit.
How come those same loopholes happen in blue states, Rico, if it's just a Republican problem? How come in blue states you see the same gifting programs, you see the same growing pains? It's because we're building an industry that we're flying the plane as it's being built. So looking at, once again, things that haven't worked other places. Why would you fail when people have already gone through those failures? Like if I look at you and I see you fall down riding your bike over this one hump, I'm going to drive my bike around that hump. Why? Because I saw it didn't work for you.
That's right. They took Joe Biden's bike away when he fell off the bike. That's true.
All right. All right.
We're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Free DC.
No.